evenings are always the worst time of day for visually impaired people, and that's certainly been true for me. As my sight has got worse, my confidence has got less. In the dark, I find it really hard to judge traffic. I find it hard to know who's approaching me on the pavement. Public transport feels very menacing at night time. The metro system here on Tyneside is a scary place in the dark, and not one I go to willingly. So, as a musician, folk clubs, which I used to frequent a lot, have become a bit of a rarity for me. I only go to folk clubs when I can get a lift, so I depend on family and friends to take me. That's difficult. The other problem with that is that if I want to go to a folk club and play, how do you work a guide dog while you're carrying a guitar case? It's nigh on impossible. So, as time went on, I started to go out less and less. I started to miss those things. I started to drop off the folk scene altogether. Then about 10 or 12 years ago now, someone told me about Mike Harding's program on Radio 2. And what I found was, it wasn't just a radio program. It was, for me, a virtual folk club. Mike became like the compere of my local folk club. The only difference was he was right here in my sitting room. And like all good folk clubs, you come across new music. Mike has introduced me to quite a few new bands and artists. Quite a number of the CDs in my collection would not be there had I not heard them on Mike Harding's program. But there's more to it than that. Mike Harding's program, like I said earlier, is like a virtual folk club. There are regular people, regular guests, regular listeners who become part of that scene, who become, in a way, friends. For a lot of visually impaired people, with not just Mike's show but with lots of radio is our favourite medium. Listening to radio for visually impaired people, we're on an equal platform. When we try and watch TV, we're not on an equal footing. When we listen to the radio, we're on an equal footing. So we depend on radio probably more than sighted people do. Yet, when these decisions were being made to remove Mike, was whatever focus group, if there was a focus group, was it weighted towards visually impaired people? I suspect not. Yet, I'd like to bet there are a higher proportion of visually impaired people listening to Mike's program than there are sighted people. Visually impaired people live by the radio. And for me, listening to Mike every week, he became a friend. He visited me in my home every week. A friend who has similar musical taste to me, who would put new things in front of me and sometimes challenge me. And then, without any warning, Mike gets a phone call and told it's all over. Not only is that not the way to deal with Mike, it's not the way to deal with me or any other visually impaired person who relies on that so much more than a sighted person would. That is my folk club. For me, it felt like yet another kick in the teeth, one more place I couldn't go. That's why I got involved in this campaign. That's why I'm passionate about it. Why do we have to lose such experience? Mike wants to stay, he's happy to stay, and thousands of people love him. We say, leave Mike alone.